with our first guest, Miss Candace, artist, illustrator, graphic designer, henna artist, plus her own women and girls empowerment brand. Not to mention, she's beautiful.
Thank you.
I see you have a lot of different ventures going on, which all kind of stem from the artistic world. Were you creative growing up?
I was creative growing up because when I was younger, every holiday, every new season, I used to decorate my door. So if it was fall, I would draw leaves and I would cut out the leaves and put it all over my door, make a big pumpkin, have a big welcome sign. So I was creative in that way. And also in the newspaper, they used to have drawing contests. I used to enter those, but it was really for college students to enter a certain college, but I used to submit my drawing anyway. And one day I actually made the paper and I had my picture in it, and it presented my my drawing that I had, which was an Animaniac cartoon. So I was very creative. Anything that's in use with my hands, not only just drawing, but even like creating little things like making little airplanes out of these little things that they used to sell at the Dollar Tree or Walmart, where you can create cars or create like airplanes. I used to build those type of things. So anything that involves me using my hands, you know, it just...
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So who introduced you to being creative? You know, sometimes you have a big cousin, your mom's a singer, or where you think the creativity came from for you?
My father is an artist. He can draw very well. My aunt, my cousins, most of my family could draw. So I truly believe that's where it came from.
So it's kind of like, you know, yeah, like a family thing, you know, in your genes, in your blood.
It is.
Okay.
Very much so.
Do you think that our kids, and just kids in general, especially more in the inner city level, should have more art programs in the school? Do you think that'll be beneficial for them in their future?
Definitely. Definitely. The reason why I believe that is because art, especially to me, is not only an escape, but it's also an imagination. And art is free. It's a free expression. There's no wrong art. If I decide to color outside the line, there's beauty in that. You know, so it's beauty in art either way you express it.
Okay.
So that's what makes it beautiful.
Did you participate in art in school growing up?
I did participate in art in school, such as the contest where the teacher may hang the best picture, or even not the best picture. It can just be a whole bunch of, like, say for instance, pumpkins on the wall since it's fall. I just, you know, definitely was so excited about those times where I can express myself in school rather than doing just a regular math problem.
When did you realize that you actually had talent, like a real artistic skill? When did it hit you?
When it hit me that I had artistic talent is when the newspaper published me in the newspaper, and I was maybe 11 years old, and like I said, I did an Animaniac cartoon, and they published me in the paper saying that I'm the winner. So I was like, wow, okay, I'm on to something here. So
did your family support you? Because, you know, sometimes they'll say that's not a real career.
That is very true, but my mom has been my #1 supporter, and she definitely encouraged me to keep drawing. She supplied me with pencils and all the utensils I need to keep on drawing.
How old were you, or what grade were you in when you started noticing guys start noticing you?
Oh man, let's see. When guys started noticing me, I'll say in junior high.
Junior high.
In junior 7th grade.
Was that scary, or were you outgoing and you just kind of took it in stride?
I was super silly. I definitely wasn't scared, but I was super silly, and still am super silly. So I wasn't taking any offense or scared. I'm just being myself because I'm silly. So it is what it is, pretty much.
Do you remember how old you were when you had your first little boyfriend?
Yes, I actually was in 6th grade before I got to junior high. That was actually elementary. But I was in 6th grade, and I had my first boyfriend, and he was a sweetheart. And we didn't do nothing much. We just used to just say we was together and just play on the playground. Nothing more, nothing less.
Would you say that's too young now? And what is too young to have a little boyfriend?
Oh man, that's a good question. Let's see. My niece is 12, and I feel like she is too young to have a boyfriend. So I say maybe 16, because I know children get curious and start being attractive to the opposite sex around 13 to 14. So I see nothing wrong with it. So, but as far as like being in the actual relationship, I say about 16.
Is social media starting to influence our youth in a negative way? Because it's almost like if you display yourself half naked, you can kind of move up the ranks a little quicker. It's not that I'm totally against that, but if you're young eyes, young minds, that could be influencing, almost like a drug dealer. How do you feel about social media now influencing our young generation?
Social media is definitely influencing, our young generation. And the reason why I say that is because I have a young niece. She's 12 years old. Most girls, when they're logged on, if you're not true to yourself or know who you are, which is why I'm doing the thing that I'm doing with my brand Candy Fresh. I want young girls to know who they are and to stay true to themselves, that they don't have to change because of what they see presented or what people are perceiving as beautiful these days. And social media is one of those, to me, I don't want to say threat, I don't know what you can call it, but if you log on to social media and especially be following one of those blog posts, what's considered beautiful, young girls will start to think that that's beautiful. So I definitely think it has an influence on our young generation, especially if they don't know who they are. So I'm here to bring that awareness and influence to our young generation, specifically young girls, with my brand Candy Fresh, to show that have self-respect and also to know who they are, and they don't have to be whoever.
Okay. Now, as we get older, I know certain opportunities, certain situations present themselves. You are a beautiful young lady with an amazing body and everything like that. What helped you not go off that path by showing your body to get ahead?
Is the only reason that I can say is because I know who I am. That's the only reason. It's because I know who I am. I have self-respect. I don't have to show my boobs. I don't have to put weave in my hair, but even though that's okay.
And that's okay. That's what I said.
Okay. So
but it's
not that. But I don't have to take pictures with me from the back.
Right.
You know, I don't have to
all the time.
You know, so pretty much just knowing who I am.
Did someone instill that in you?
You know what? No one instilled that in me. I do look up to my mother. And she never verbally expressed that to me, but just looking at her, seeing that how she carried herself, then, you know, and she's free, you know, definitely set an example for me that I don't have to have this on and this on to get a guy's attention or to get friends, you know, so.
Okay. Now, as far as your different businesses, which came first?
The first business that came first is definitely Candy Fresh, which was in 2009. I went to an art show, art speech and lyrics show, and I already knew that I can paint and I can draw, but I never really act out on really painting for real. So I went to an art speech and lyrics show and was inspired by all the different art that I seen. I came home that night about 3 o'clock in the morning. I had an urge to just draw before I went to sleep. And I actually drew me a logo, which is Candy Fresh. And I drew it out in graffiti-like letters At that time, it didn't have a message, but now it does.
So talk a little bit more about Candy Fresh. Tell the world, what is Candy Fresh?
Okay, Candy Fresh is a women and girls empowerment brand. And the reason why I'm saying brand is not just a clothing line. Even though it is continually to evolve since 2009, now it's getting to the point where since 2012, it definitely now has a message behind it. So at first it started off just wearing cute little flowers on shirts for women, and in 2012 I grew up with my brand. So I came into my purpose. I knew what I want to do. I knew what I represent, and I knew what part I want to have here on the earth with influencing young girls. And when I started doing graphic design for my clothing line, people started saying, hey, can you do me a logo too? So that's when my custom design, SweetCustoms, came into play.
Like a real snowball effect.
Like a snowball effect. So now I'm doing women empowerment, still empowering young girls and women through my clothing line and the messages on the shirts and hats or whatever. And now I'm doing custom design work for other people, since people know, oh, she made that shirt, she drew that shirt, you know, she printed that shirt, she embroidered that shirt. So now that's what SweetCustoms come along. So SweetCustoms is my other business that I have, where I do t-shirt printing, custom graphic design. I do logos, book covers, pamphlets, flyers, ads, anything like that, animation.
Book covers. Explain book covers. What is a book cover?
Say for instance, you have an idea. I get a lot of these children books. Someone come to me and say, hey, I have an idea for a children book. I haven't got it printed yet. I don't know the manuscript yet, but I want a book cover named this. So I would give them my idea on what the book cover should look like. So, and once y'all sketch it out, then I go into my computer and digitally create it, and they have them a book cover.
Which one takes most of your time?
The one that takes most of my time is definitely custom work. People nowadays, more people are branding themselves more. More people have ideas. More people are visual. So more people want to do what they want to do. More people want to have a clothing line. More people got a book design. More people have an event going on, they need a flyer. So.
What about your henna work? How did you get into the henna world?
Henna work. Well, it started off, I was over my best friend's house, and she was pregnant, and she came across a picture of this design on this pregnant lady's stomach. I said, oh, well, I'm familiar with that. Oh, that's henna. I never did it before. And she said, I'm about to take you to the store and get you some henna so you can do this on my belly. So I ended up doing it on her belly and completely fell head over heels for it. So once I did that on her stomach, I ended up doing her hand, and after her hand, I ended up doing my hand. I uploaded it on social media. When I say everybody and their granny was hitting me up to get some henna design done, so that's where it all began.
Okay. So what kind of advice would you have for someone trying to start out in one of these different avenues? For someone who wants to start out, you definitely have to make a plan of action. If you don't have a plan, I can already tell you now, it's just a wish, as I heard a wise person say. So definitely want to map out your plan on how you're going to get this, how you're going to execute it. So definitely a plan to action, saying, okay, well, hey, I want to start a clothing line. Okay, write down, what's the name of the clothing line? How are you going to sell it? What's your market? So definitely have a plan to action and really think all the things through until you just release anything. What type of advice would you have for a young, beautiful lady who's kind of on the fence from going into the professional world or kind of going on that way because she's beautiful? What kind of advice would you have for that young lady?
The same as my clothing line. Stay true to yourself.
So where do we purchase your designs, your clothing? Like, how does someone get in contact with you? How does someone buy your material?
For Candy Fresh Women Empowerment Brand, you can find me on the web, www.shopcandyfresh.com. If you want any custom design work for your brand, you can email me at sweetcustomsco@gmail.com, and I will respond back promptly.
Well, artist, illustrator, graphic designer, henna artist, her own women and girls empowerment brand, Miss Candace. Thank you so much to being on the first edition of Channel One's new segment, Beauty and Power.
Peace.